Andrew Hutchings here, still not a licensed physician at the time of recording this video, still not giving medical advice. It's still purely educational, for entertainment and for information, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's for whatever you want it besides medical advice. Parabens. You might have heard of them, you might not have. They are molecules that are added to a lot of self-care products, whether that be makeup, lotions, shampoos, toothpastes. They're added to a lot of stuff. And they may be added to things you consume. I'm not sure. I don't consume a lot of garbage that has chemicals in it, so I don't read a lot of labels. You know, it's like I'm cooking some salmon right now. It's actually pretty cheap because it's like ground up or something, or I don't know, it's like pressed into patties. I mention that just because, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, I can't afford to eat real food because it's expensive. Yeah, it is more expensive, but you can look for the cheaper options. I'm not saying I always get the cheap options, but you know, sometimes I do. And you can too if you can't afford to buy like a piece of salmon every day. You could buy this ground up salmon, or you can buy ground beef. But let's not get off topic. Parabens. They may mimic estrogenic activity, but they certainly mimic estrogenic activity in the sense that they block estrogen breakdown. So they block an enzyme called 17-beta-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase, which breaks down estradiol, which is the most active estrogen in your body. Typically, if you measure your estrogen levels, you're actually measuring your estradiol levels. I know I said estradiol. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. In English, I'm pretty sure it's estradiol. That's what I've always called it. My language just gets a little screwed up the longer I live, not in an English-speaking country. So yeah, it blocks the enzyme that breaks down estradiol, meaning your estradiol levels are going to go higher. And it may also mimic estrogenic activity at the E2 receptor, but that is more cloudy. Either way, it's not something you really want going throughout your body, increasing estradiol activity, unless for some reason you want to increase estradiol activity. But here's the issue. Well, it's actually a good thing, but it's bad if you for some reason wanted to increase your estradiol activity. If taken orally, it's going to be rapidly metabolized by esterases into para-hydroxybenzoic acid. Not something you got to worry too much about, not something that's going to mess with your estradiol. So, good news if you do not want to increase your estrogen load on your body, bad news if you do want to increase it. But for most people, I think that is good news. The bad news is, like I said, this is used on a lot of topically applied products and toothpastes. Let's start with the toothpaste, whereas when it's taken orally, it's rapid. It goes through your portal system to your liver, over here. And it is rapidly metabolized into a non-estrogen interfering compound. But if used in toothpaste, it's going to be absorbed through your oral mucosa and go systemic before it goes to the liver. So you will have some systemic estrogen increasing activity. But the question is, how much do you really get from your toothpaste? How long is it really active? Now, I guess that depends on how much is in your toothpaste, if you have any, and how much toothpaste you use. I don't use much toothpaste. I'm not too worried if I have parabens in my toothpaste. I prefer toothpaste without parabens, but if there's parabens as like the last ingredient, and I barely use any toothpaste anyways, yeah, that's true. I don't use much toothpaste, just like I don't use shampoo. I use it occasionally because my wife gives it to me on some holidays. Like, oh, here's a nice shampoo. It's like, oh, thanks. I guess I'll use it. I'm not going to waste it. I mean, you shouldn't use something if it's truly harmful for you, just to avoid wasting it. But I'm not too worried about using a little shampoo once in a while. Now, what do I use instead of shampoo? I use a bar of soap because it's just soap. You don't have to worry about a bunch of freaky chemicals in it, unless you buy some bar of soap with a bunch of freaky chemicals in it. So yeah, parabens in the oral mucosa will be absorbed systemically, will interfere with your hormones, your estrogen, your estradiol metabolism. So avoid it in toothpaste if you want to be as safe as possible. Another thing is, if you have it in lotion or makeup or something, the worst thing would be if it's in some sort of lotion. Hold on a second. The reason it would be so bad in some sort of lotion is, number one, you could apply a lot of it to your body. Number two, when it's applied to the skin, it is going to be active in the skin, doing its undesired effects before it makes it to your liver. So it's not good. You know, it probably seems very unprofessional what I'm doing, but what I hate, and it's a topic for another video that I'll probably never make, but I hate people that try to seem credible by being professional. Now, it may sound like, what? Why is it bad to be professional? It's not bad to be professional. I just notice that a lot of people get fooled by people who act very professional, and they associate that with being credible or being knowledgeable or being capable, when they are two completely different things. I can be very unprofessional cooking my food while I'm making a video without my shirt, while at the same time being extremely credible and knowledgeable and speaking the truth. Not scamming you, not misleading you, whereas other people, they may put on a suit and tie, sit down, maybe invite some guests over, and just, I'm not talking about anyone in specific, I'm just saying that if you wanted to seem really credible and get people to believe you, you act nice, you have the professional camera set up, you have your recording studio, and people are like, this guy must know what he's talking about, when in reality, those things have nothing to do with how credible or knowledgeable or authentic or truthful or whatever you are. But back to the parabens, now that it took my salmon off the pan. So yeah, if they are applied to your skin, you could apply a lot of them, and often. That would not be good, and they're going to be active in your skin. Now, even worse is if you're a female and you're applying them to your breast area, that's going to be going into your mammary glandular tissue and increasing estrogenic activity, whether that's directly with the E2 receptor or whether that's blocking the breakdown of estradiol. That's not good. That's dangerous for women. I will not let my wife use anything on her body that has parabens. It's not good in general, but especially not on your mammary glandular tissue, which is very prone to estrogen-dependent breast cancer. So yeah, orally, not much to worry about. Sublingually, best not to. But topically, if you're gonna rub it on like a little tiny area, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But don't be lathering up your body, especially not your breasts, especially if you're a female. I guess if you're a transgender guy, or what, I don't know if you're called a transgender girl or a transgender guy, but you want to go from male to female, maybe put it all over your breasts. Good for you. You can say that I don't discriminate now. If you're a transgender watching this, you can click the like button and click subscribe. You might be my first one. But to all the other people, do not rub it on your breasts. Girls, you might be thinking, oh, if I rub it on my breasts, maybe they'll get bigger. Yes, they might. But guess what else can happen? You can get fibrous tissue growing, which is not going to be pleasant if a guy fuels you up. It's not going to be pleasant if you fuel up yourself, and you're increasing your risk of cancer. So do not do that. Not a good way to grow your breasts. So yeah, there you have it. Parabens are in a lot of things. When ingested orally, they're rapidly metabolized in the liver to non-hormonally disrupting chemicals. When inadvertently taken sublingually or buccally, because you're brushing your teeth, that is going to be active systemically for a while, but probably not so much. But when used topically, not a good thing. So please like, subscribe, and comment. Check out my other videos. Leave a comment. Check out my Instagram, AndreyHutch, AndreyHutch, where you can hire me for training, consultations, coaching, plans, whatever. Same thing with diet, same thing with supplements, same thing with special supplements, same thing with harm reduction, same thing with any sort of medical information, whether it's for blood work, whether it's for medications. I just can't give medical advice. But the main difference between medical advice and medical information, and I'm sick, that's why I sound weird, is that medical information, I give you the information, whereas medical advice, I would give you the information and tell you, I advise you to follow it. So I just cut out that advising you to follow it part, and you think about that for yourself.